Hello, Abigail here with the Tarotscopes for Leo season, Capricorn Sun, Moon, and Rising. My Capricorns, this is something else. It's also the precursor to eclipse season and Virgo season, but there's a lot going on. You can find out more about that in my video about Leo season, but I think kind of what is important to know just in this moment is that we are under a Mercury retrograde. We had a Mercury retrograde in Leo last year, and we had a Venus retrograde in Leo the year before. So this is very much kind of the final moment of these retrogrades, not to mention in December of 2024. Yes, I think my date's right. We had Mars retrograde starting in Leo going into Cancer, and that was at 6 degrees of Leo. So all of these things are kind of culminating in this retrograde. So it feels a bit bigger and a bit more intense than, say, your typical retrograde. Not to mention, it's also pulling in the Aries retrograde of the spring. So just know that there's a lot of intensity and impact in this season. I think a really interesting combination of really good and really hard, which is a very retrograde theme. But starting off, you start off with a really lovely card. You start off with the Empress. This is about really feeling into our comfort and care, and also deep diving into the things that Venus rules, like pleasure and connection and values and the softer and finer things of life. Whatever ways in which you can meet yourself on a comfort and care level, I think is all the better. You know, the Empress is also a position of power and knowledge and almost divinity. So really treat yourself well this season. Be gentle. If you can, kind of take a little bit of a step back from labor, I would encourage you to do so. I think downtime will definitely help this season and help you manage it, but also just listening to what your body needs, listening to the calls, whether it be pain or desire or just really wanting to do something. I encourage you to do that this Leo season and really support yourself through this. This is also when we have a major arcana, we're talking about bigger, broader themes. I think this is something that is important for you to integrate over time, or if you're already doing it, to amp it up. Also, a reminder, we do have a pretty spicy new moon in Leo, which is really about ourselves and our values and the heart of things. So it's on the 24th. Definitely, I think, sit with yourself and care for yourself. Maybe do some self-care on that day. Do something sweet. Buy yourself a little snack. If you can't tell, I'm a Taurus, very snack-heavy person. But feed into and nurture the person that you are. I think a lot of times we see ourselves as a resource, and something fun about resources is if you don't take care of them and ethically resource them, you will strip them and destroy them. So don't do that to yourself, especially this Leo season when it feels like there's not a whole lot of buffers. We then have the Three of Pentacles. I encourage you to connect, maybe not in a friendship way, but in finding people that can support you and your vision and who you feel like you can support in a similar way. Really pulling together resources with others and not going it alone. The more you outsource your needs and your feelings and share your desires, the better. And, this isn't about you just putting all of your stuff on other people, which I think you understand, but it's about you building networks that help you not have to only rely on yourself and your own resources. It is about building community and building connection, and taking the time that requires to, do. And as a Capricorn person, you will always need time to do things. And ironically, most of the Capricorn people I know don't want to use time. They want it now, which makes sense. You want to build, you want to have something secure, very Saturnian. But unfortunately, the catch-22 with that is that there is a progression that must take place in order for good, solid things to happen. And what's going to help you build that are other people and their resources and their joy and their commitment to things. I'm kind of reading a little bit out of order, but be a little cautious who you're building with. Make sure there is true alignment. We do have a Seven of Swords on the bottom of the deck, which I'll talk about a little bit more, but just remember it is a Mercury retrograde. If there is someone who you've gotten red flags from before, don't see them as green just because the retrograde is here. Still be, particular about the people that you build with. I don't mean that everyone has to be perfect. I just mean that people need to be honest and true to themselves. And then we have a lovely Queen of Wands, which I love it when I get a queen with the Empress. It's kind of this reinforcing of the direction we need to go in. The Queen of Wands is the fire queen. We have this new moon in Leo. We are in Leo season. It is about harnessing your passions and your desires and also believing them, believing in their value, believing in the power that you contain both internally and externally, and finding a way to harness and build that. It also kind of ties back into what I was saying about the Empress, about having care for yourself. And with the Queen of Wands, it's very important to keep the internal fire burning, and that requires tending and the gathering of wood and just perpetual awareness around your own feelings and your place in the world. So there's a huge call in the spread to connect to your body, to connect to your needs, to slow down when you need to slow down. I will say the Queen of Wands doesn't like slowing down, but in aid of keeping a fire going, she will slow down as much as she needs. So be the Queen of Wands. Also makes me wonder if there isn't some passionate endeavor that needs to be kicked off and activated, if not in like an external practical way, in an internal way. This belief and commitment. Once again, I'm reminded of that new moon in Leo, and I think that is a good time to sit with your next steps and the ways in which you want to move forward. And no, you can't set all into practice in this moment, but you can absolutely start planning and kind of letting these thoughts and beliefs and ideas percolate and create kind of their own form in the in the ether of your body and mind until they are ready to step forth into the world when you do something practical with them. Pardon me. And I love this for you because you do have a ton of pentacles. I think there's a lot of abundance to be found for Capricorn. I do think, especially with you having just had that full moon in Capricorn, and then at the end of, end-ish of Leo season, having that full moon in Aquarius, which is another Saturn ruled full moon, there's actually some really good things coming in for you, some things that you have, really cared about and thought about and put a lot of effort in that are coming to fruition, whether this be something in your home or something in your personal life or even work. I would check where Leo and Aquarius fall in your chart to get more information about what kind of abundance is coming in for you. You know, if it's like second, eighth, this has a lot to do with other people and like our personal things. If it's, 10th and fourth, it's like home and career. And career less is like what job you do and more of like the legacy that you leave behind. The sixth holds that like literal labor. But yeah, to get a really good read, I would suggest looking at where Leo and Aquarius are in your charts. But um, there are a lot of really good things coming in, and I think a lot of kind of tying back to our Three of Pentacles, a lot of great relational things coming about. However, we do have the Seven of Swords. There will be little tests slipped in where, people who maybe don't really want us to have a Ten of Pentacles moment might try to like shove their oar in. Just remember that we are in a retrograde, Mercury retrograde. Not everything is as it seems. Doesn't mean that people are intentionally lying, but it also doesn't mean that they have your best interest at heart. Also, with that new moon, we have this Sun opposition with Pluto, which reveals a lot of secrets about people's intentions. So just be aware that a lot of people are saying who they are and you should believe them. But yeah, I think there's a lot of benefit in you planting seeds with the new moon, releasing during that full moon. It doesn't have a lot of interaction with a lot of things cosmically, which is a good thing. It allows us to kind of be free to let things go. So clear space for all the Ten of Pentacle things that you want to bring in. Ten of Pentacles isn't always just one moment, it is an accumulation of moments. So keep gathering those pentacles. And last but not least, we do have a lovely Queen of Pentacles. You are sowing seeds constantly. You are planting abundance. Um, believe in what you bring to the table and also value yourself as such. A part of your value should be that you are valuable enough to be advocated for, to be believed in, to be paid well, to be treated well, and not like a workhorse. So definitely stand up for yourself. Also, a reminder that in Mercury retrogrades, jobs can also come and go. Um, don't freak out and don't be worried and be like, oh, it's me this time around. But if you're in a job that you're unhappy in, this isn't a bad time to start planning to make your exit and to find a place that you're truly appreciated and valued in and seen as the abundant being and energy that you are. All right, my loves, that is my reading for you. A little bit of difficulty, a little bit of joy, a lot of expansion, and honestly, a lot of abundance. And I'm excited for you to experience that in this moment. Do know that there is a lot of intensity. So balance the intensity and the, the wildness of the energy with the joy, and recognizing when you are receiving abundance and things, because it can be easy to kind of miss them if we're distracted by other things. Anyways, like and subscribe if you enjoy my stuff, and I will see you in a different space and time. Blessed Leo season.